Welcome back. Today we are doing a full body flow class. Going to be lots of twisting, turning of the torso and deep core stability and activation today. But we're going to start with a nice and easy, relaxing breath. One of my favorites, especially for modern living, the amount of stress that we all go through day to day. This is designed to relieve that. It's called the sigh of relief. So the sigh of relief done properly is a very large, well, it's a double inhale. But it's smooth, sigh of relief. And that's about the length I like. And you can fade it out to the distance. You want to get more advanced at this? You can breathe into physical tension and then release it. Or you can breathe into something emotional, mental, whatever you're feeling that you're holding onto that's keeping you dense. Dense energy, soften and release. So, taking a nice, relaxed, seated stance. Through the nose, on your own count, let's go. Feel everything release. Build up of tension, release. Almost like the natural flow of a wave. Crash. You can play with the different intensities of this as well. It can be slower, it can be more forceful. Play with both. Forceful. The more sound you can make, the stronger the biological effects throughout the body will be. The more you can get the body into it and let go, the more effective it'll be. Now just slowing down the intensity of that, but bringing it into a more normal breath. So just a single smooth inhale with the same essence of that relief. Smooth in, any count. Relief. You want to teach yourself, teach the exhale to be a constant pressure release. You can do that throughout your whole day. You're just constantly dumping and releasing any tension, any emotions, keeping you light, relaxed, joyful, in your truest self. It's tension that robs you of your higher self. So we want to just get used to using the exhale. It's your most powerful psychological friend. Starting to loosen up the neck. No rules at all. Observe your own neck and just go to any tightness. Bound by my rules, what I'm doing, I can feel a tension here, so I'm just keeping the shoulder back and pulling against it, and then I'll flow. Okay, on that side, so it's just about becoming connected to your body. And being able to just flow and pull and stretch where you need it. And from here, we're going to link the hands behind us, open up, breathing into the back of the rib cage. releasing the hands, pressing the knees down to press the hips up. Get my hands a little further back. Drive the hips up, open the chest and heart, tilt the head back. You can float up and back, or you can just come into one big hold. Tilt the head back if you can, relax. Release, coming back down. And just tilting forward, rolling around. Almost getting a little bit of a shoulder roll here. A bit of a wave happening. And I can wave up. Just get loose. Feel that flow. Let it all go. Get that fluidity. It might seem very feminine, but it's also a good boxer, a good fighter. They're very fluid. They roll with the punches. And you can do the same with that lower back. That lower back rolling. Harder to do. And we'll go into a little cat-cow, seated cat-cow. So same as with traditional, we scoop up, press the head forward, chest forward, head tilts back. Breathe out and press away. Breathe in and out. Excellent. Bring that right hand on the outside of the left quad. Bring yourself all the way to the side. And you can also see my right hand is actually on the back of my kidney. I'll open up the shoulder as well. Take a deep breath into that open rib cage. And I switch, just opening up shoulder, thoracic, the torso, looking behind. And you can speed up the flow. You can slow it down and hold. And relax. Rolling over. We're going to start on all fours and just start with our cat-cow. Just a couple. Scoop the head up. Deep arch. Press through the ground. Breathe in as you scoop up. Breathe out as you press. Really good for the spine. There's not too many days I'll go without doing this sequence. And stepping back that left foot, we glide into our down dog. Pedaling it out, twisting at the hips, walking wide, bouncing around, in close. Stretch out the hamstrings, press those hips high, start giving yourself enough length and bounce that chest towards the feet. And from here, we're going to float through that plank position that we train in, perfect plank. And just do a couple of rolls around the wrists, really good for the wrists, shoulders, deep core if your back's not collapsing. Just activate the wrist, shoulder, core, and then sink into your up dog. Open the chest and heart, nice and long through the arms, nice and long and relaxed through the neck. We glide back and repeat one more time. We slide into down dog, shoulders over the wrists, couple of circles each way. Engage that core into the back of the spine and melt into our dog. And float it back. Drop the knees wide, sink the bum into the heels, scoop the floor up, open the chest and heart, melt back. Scoop the floor, breath in, open, expand, breath out, release. Breathe in. And pressing through the toes, we glide back to down dog. From here, we're going to point that toe up high to the sky, coming onto our tiptoes, open up. We float that left foot forward through, nice and deep, high lunge warrior. So I want to get a little bit of depth here. Knee over the ankle thereabouts, nice and long through that back leg, no bend if we can. Open nice and tall. If you want to get a nice shoulder stretch, don't overstretch the torso, keep the tailbone tucked. And press high, I'll get a nice little open to the shoulders here. And on the exhale, I'm gonna float if I can into my warrior three. Nice and straight base leg if you can. If you need to start, bend it. And eventually you want a straight base leg for today, a straight back leg. Clench the foot at 90, it's gonna give you the most core activation. Level the hips, hands high enough. And on the exhale, you're gonna float that right foot back onto train tracks perfectly if you can. Hinging at the hips, melt into your pyramid. On the breath in, we come flat back. And exhale, come back down. Tilting forward, stepping back into our down dog. Right leg now glides up. We point that to the sky, come onto the tiptoes, float that foot through. Nice and deep, long through the back leg, leaning forward, get active through that front leg. Activate the core, nice and high through the hands. Open up the shoulders a little bit behind the head, not overarching. And on the exhale, we're gonna float into that warrior three. Trying to straighten the base leg, straighten the back leg, clench the back foot. Level the hips much harder. Chuck the chin, strong core. And on the exhale, fade that left foot back perfectly if you can. Melting into your pyramid. Deep breath in, come up to flat back. And release. Tilting forward, floating back. Knees go wide, sink into your child pose. Relax the breath. Let it all go. Let it all relax. And you can have a little wiggle down here. Get fluid, get loose, get windy. And floating back up. Rolling into a low up dog now. Open up the spine. Chest nice and proud, open. And release. And coming back to tabletop. From here, we're just gonna open up the shoulders a little here. We're gonna just nice and simply, trying to keep the torso still. My pinky goes to the sky, and I'm trying to keep my arm inside the mat. Deep breath. Trying to keep the torso flat, so my shoulder joint does all the work. I want to avoid leaning to the side. Core active, open up that shoulder joint. Keeping it inside the mat, nice and slow. Other side. We're going through this pretty quick today. A few cracks. Torso still, let the shoulder joint do the work. And relax. From here, we're gonna go into our loaded beast, and we're gonna go into a slow motion forward kick through. So, quite a difficult move to do fast. We're gonna slow it down. We come into loaded beast. So my hips sink into my heels. I'm gonna lunge as far wide as I can with the left foot. Once I've got to this position, foot outside the left hand, I'm gonna open the left hand to the sky. Deep hip flexor stretch here. But what I'm gonna do here is lean onto the right, nice straight back leg, and I'm gonna get this right foot through without touching the floor. If I can, for a little hold, if you need to drop, you can. 3, 2, 1. Slow back, back to the stance, lunge, drop the left hand, float back to loaded beast. Right leg glides up, soft landing. We open the right hand, open the chest, floating hand, straightening the back leg if you can. Leaning onto my left hand. Go a little wider if you're running out of room. Float that left foot forward and through. 3, 2, 1. Float that leg back, open back up. Drop the right hand, we float back. One more on the other side. Open up. 3, 2, 1. Kick through for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Float back, load the beast. Float the right foot wide and high, open the hand, heart, 3, 2, 1. Lean on the left, bring it through, kick all the way through for 3, 2, 1. Float it back, sitting in child pose. Deep breaths. and release. And floating back up. This time we're gonna do it one more time with just a little bit more pace. So we float back, lunge wide left, kick on the right, kick through. Float back, load the beast. Right foot, glide through the left, nice and look deep. Float back, couple more each side. Float. One movement now if you can. Breathe. Two more each side. Get you strong and loose at the same time. And last one, push through and relax. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna come into our ape stretch or ape squat. Wiggling those hips down, getting the feet flat. And once they're flat like so, and the heels are flat, go a bit wider if you need to, we're gonna externally rotate and internally rotate. Just get used to those hips turning in, out, out. And you can use your hands if you're just starting. You can even press that knee wide. And in, out. Most people get really weak below their hips and knees. We're gonna turn this into just a power, easy position where we can move in all ranges, very, very animalistic in our movement. Just wide, and so on. From here, we can also open up the shoulders for a tricky one. I put my tops of my hands on my kidneys and bring them inside my knees into the, I think it's called the chicken leg or chicken bone stretch, and bring the knees in. External rotation of the shoulder joint, and I can kind of wiggle around here. And if I bring my knees together, the shoulder joint really feels it. So I'm working the shoulders, hip flexors, getting good in all positions. Another thing we can play with, wrap around one ankle, float the hand to the sky. Left to right, trying to keep the heels flat. Hard to do. Hand goes all the way to the sky. And you can hold it there for a little if you like. Control the breath. And you'll open up the shoulders, thoracic, core, opening up everything through this flow. Another 15, and you can go back to the first ones. Go to where your body feels it. I'm tight through the hips today, so I'm gonna gravitate to this. If I'm soft in the thoracic and I wanna open it up, hold a little longer. Go to your spots. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna go into one of the more difficult animal flows, one of my favorite moves. We've got limbs flying everywhere, full body-mind connection. This builds your style, your control, your core, opens, does about everything. So, we're gonna do the first rep together as a warm-up and then speed it up and do quite a few. The loaded beast, loaded scorpion kick through. So, I float into like a bent leg, so kind of like a down dog with a bit of a bent leg. I launch the left foot out into the sky and it hooks around. I come off the left hand and let the left foot gradually drop. I drop my bum. I come back, bring the left hand down. That left foot keeps floating to the left. Look how straight it is, low to the floor. Let's do it again. Back to center, left foot up. Hooks around, soft landing, gentle touch. Float back, left hand now drops. We switch hands, come off the right, long. We're going for 30 more seconds. Open. And you can play with the speeds. You want to be able to control it. Slow motion and lower yourself all the way down. And you can go fast if you need to. You can go too fast, lose control. Slow motion, elegant. Control. And we better go to the other side. Back to center, right leg scoops up. Hooks around, we let it drop, a little heavy there. Coming back around, switch hands. On my right hand, the right leg goes through. Float back to center. We're gonna go for 30. Open, switch, long. You can drop down if you need to at any point. You can just keep that same right leg, just keeps floating. Really good for all your stabilizers here. Shoulders, wrists, hips, core, everything happening here. We slowly build that style. Last 10. Slow, 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 fast. And relax, excellent. Just shake out the wrists. We'll do a quick bit of mobility on the wrist. And a little bit wrist heavy through that. Just rocking forward and back. Shoulders over the fingers. And upside down. Couple each side. Get your breath back. Relax. And spend a little bit more time on the wrists. Just gonna do a little more prep work. Then the hands go wide. Float left to right. Recover that breath. Shake it out. A few finger activations. Hard in, hard out. And relax the shoulders. A little bit of a release. Forward, back, forward, back. From here, we're gonna move into our lateral bear crawl. So, watching me, shoulders over the wrists at all times, hips over the knees at all times, and we're just floating together. Soft, soft. If you wanna go more advanced, shoulder tap, and we want that movement as fluid as possible. We're going for another 45. Strong through the fingers. If you're too wrist heavy here, like this, you're gonna get a sore shoulder, sore wrist. Make sure those fingers are active. You're strong through the core, so you're light. So here my hands just melt into the mat. There's zero impact. See, they're like webs. I just glide, find lightness. We're trying to build lightness through your body. So to get light, we're strong through here, takes the weight off. Strong through the hands, strong everywhere, makes it soft through the wrists. So hips level. I've got a mirror here, so I'm getting a nice flat back, which is what I'm after. Stable hips, especially on that tap. Last 7 seconds. Breathe, breathe, tap, float across, and relax. Shake out those wrists once again. Good job. A lot of core activation there, quads, hips, a lot happening today. And that's gonna wrap up our animal flow mobility section. We're gonna move into some Pilates with some deep core activation, as well as some shoulder. We're activating everything, always, but deep focus on the core. We're gonna start by just getting you in the right plank position. Shoulders over the hands, pressing, creating space. My mid back has to be the highest point. So I've almost got a turtle back on the mid back. You're gonna hold this for another 30 seconds. Long, strong. Press through the fingers, hands, create space in the shoulder. Relax the breath. Long, strong. You can drop to your knees if you want. Same rule applies. Deep core is tucked. My core is tucked. My tailbone is tucked. Press through. Create space. Relax that breath. Engage the core, especially under fatigue. And cut a little short. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest in child pose. Have a little wiggle around. Next one is one of the more advanced core training exercise. We're in plank with a shoulder tap, and we're trying to stabilize the hips. So what most people lack is deep core activation. So it looks like this, twisting and turning. There's no core active there. For me to get core still, like that, no movement, I'm engaging everywhere. Bis, tris, lats, quads, calves, everything has to squeeze harder to get those hips to lock. We're gonna play with this for 45 only, and we're just working on getting rid of that hip movement. We're gonna go in 5, 4, get your hands active, 3, 2, legs a bit wider to cheat, give yourself a bit more balance. Let's go. We're gonna go for 45. Hips level, squeeze everything harder. Slow motion. Gentle, strong through the hands, space through the shoulders. I know it'll hurt early days, but we're gonna build bulletproof joints. Everything has to work hard. If you need to, drop to your knees, same rules apply. You'll still get a nice pump, and even on the knees, the tendency is for that knee to still want to come up. But you may eventually slow it down, those hips level, for a little hold. Deep activation of all major joints here, or from the torso up. 5, 4, 3, 2, relax, good job. Shake out those wrists. We're gonna give the wrists a little rest here, because I know we've been very heavy on them. Just keep rolling them out, keep moving the wrists, Keep rolling. You can roll both hands together, both directions. You can paint the fence in our recovery here. Just get fluid through that wrist joint. Strong through the hands. All right, so we're working a lot of core there. That kind of engaged everything, which is why it's such a great exercise. Now we're gonna focus on the abs, the anterior, through a couple of moves. The hardest one is probably the boat, the low boat. We're sitting in here, the lower back is glued to the floor. This is active. We're gonna try and do four 15-second rounds with a 5-second rest in between. Let's go. Hovering up, lower back is glued to the mat. If it drops, drop earlier. This is just a good way to train it. If you don't need the rest and you go a full minute, do. We've got another 5, 4, back is glued, 3, 2, and 1. Relax for 5, 4. This is just a good way to train it early days, but if you don't need the rest, do not rest. Up again, let's go. Squeeze those abs, squeeze the hip flexors. The whole anterior is keeping me, but my back flat. Another 8, breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax for 5. We're halfway. Hold if you can. 3, 2, 1. The core doesn't need much rest. Keep the feet low if you can. Try and keep the feet straight. This is working so hard to protect the back. I can feel it starting to fatigue, and that's what's going to give. It's going to go like that. So don't want that to happen. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Last round. Give it a little rub if you need. Your abs need a stretch and release too. We're going in 2, 1. Last 15. Relax the breath. Easy. Imagine you're having to go for a minute. Tell yourself it's a minute, it's only 15. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Give yourself a stretch. Deep release. Point the toes, stretch the fingers out nice and long. Create space in the shoulders, the lower back, and bring the knee up. Stretch out the hip flexors. A lot of hip flexor there. Give it a little alternate and stretch out. Beautiful. Wiggle the toes while we're here. Give that a little relax. And we're going to do a similar move that really keeps the spine in neutral, which is the main goal. A lot of hip flexors, a lot of lower abs. You can go hand under the bum for this one. We're going to do scissors. Foot is at 90, foot is at 90, legs are at 90, dead straight if you can. Pause, switch, let's go for 30. Now what's going to often happen is that knee's going to bend and it might look like this. We eventually want it there and there. Squeeze the core, the anterior. See, my lower back is glued to the mat. Crosses at the same time. Little pause if you can. 15 to go. Get you really strong through the hip flexors, obliques, abs, core. Control. Breathe. Last 10. Straighten out those legs if you can. We want to get that bend out of the knee. 3, 2, 1. Relax. One more stretch. Deep breath into the abs, release. And we're going to do another little exercise here, really good for the spine. One vertebra at a time, trying to keep the feet flat. We're going to roll up slowly, reach for a hamstring stretch. Roll down, one vertebra at a time. Like so, let the shoulders hit, hams hit. Going up slow like that, much harder. Let's go for 45. Roll the spine down slow. Control. Float back. Roll it up like carpet, very, very slow. You're going to build new neural pathways, new neural connections to the muscle to be able to roll back and control all the core muscles that roll out the spine through neutral spine. I'm going to go for another 20. You can stretch a little longer if you need it. Roll down, one vertebra at a time. Harder to go one vertebra at a time. Back up. You may need to start to throw the hands as the feet come up. Last 10. Control. And relax. Give it another stretch. Point those toes. Deep breath in. And relax. Coming back up. Crossing the legs. Coming over onto our fronts once again. We're going to move into some side plank work here and get active through the deep core. So we're going to go onto the side plank, shoulder over the hand, but I'm going to float that right leg up and get a full body activation. I'm working adductor, all around my hips and glutes, and we just switch. To the right, shoulder over the hand, open if you can. Nice and simple, all right? We're going to go in 5 seconds for about 45. Nice neutral spine, neutral core, nice and long. 3, 2, float onto the left, float high. Smooth, look how smooth my movement is. I melt that hand, nice and long. If you can't do this, we come onto our forearm. If you can't do that, come onto your forearm, drop the knee, open up. If you need, but this is still great for shoulder activation, which is why it's a great exercise too. Strong through the shoulders, melt up. Look how straight my legs are too. Point that toe. Wipe it as high as we can. I want to extend the range of motion under a lot of fatigue. Very hard to do. Keep those hips high if you can, but ideally we are up here, effortless. We're gonna go a little longer. Feel like you guys will be cruising at home, gentle. Look at the finesse, the style. We're gonna go for another 8. Breathe, glide, softness, build that style, that technique, and relax. Good job. Shake out those wrists, roll out those shoulders, stretch it out, decompress the compression if and when you need. And relax, bringing those feet back around. We've done a little bit of side body there, a lot of deep core. I want to do a little bit of lower back and posterior here, just to build extra strength for the core. From here, feet pretty close to the glutes here, drive up into our glute bridge. Squeezing the glutes together. Nice deep core activation, glutes on, core on. And what we're gonna do here for the lower back is little mini heel walkouts. This is the hardest position on the lower back. Up to center, drive the hips forward. If your lower back doesn't permit, you'll just go to there. All right, we're going in 5, 4, get into position, glute bridge, 3, 2, mini heel walk. Let's go. We're going for 45. Out all the way long if you can. Mini ones in to flat foot, raise the hips. Squeeze the glutes together as well. Long, mini ones in, glute bridge, all the way out, long, all the way back in. Not too difficult exercise, great for the lower back. Breathe, and glute bridge, good. Out nice and long if you can. Little pause, you want to make it harder. And all the way in. Oops, forgot the glute bridge. All the way out, all the way in. Glute bridge. Little squeeze the glutes together to get that bridge a little higher if you need it. We're gonna go for an extra 10. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Bring the knees into the chest for a little roll. Good job. On the home stretch now of the tough stuff. Couple of rolls each way. And from here, we're gonna do a core strengthening and stretching exercise. Legs nice and wide. I'm gonna point those toes. So we've done a lot of core stability to give us a nice straight spine during all movements. Now we need to work some rotations, the other function of the core. Trying to keep the legs or the scapula down. The hardest position is to go slow motion and pause those legs just shy of the hands. That's the hardest position, to control it there and then hold for 3, 2, 1. Let's go, we're going for 40. Slower, the better. Trying to keep the shoulders down. Little pause. Breathe. Slower, the better. Slow it down and try and get the legs straight. Legs bent's always gonna be easier and just not as high. The shoulder may come up. We're gonna work that over time. Keep those shoulders down, point those toes, almost at the hands. Pause for a split second around the hands. It's really tough. Right there. Breathe, control. Good. 3, 2, 1, relax. Bring the feet together, have a little stretch. I'm gonna do a little stretch out shortly. We've got one more exercise to go. Rolling back forward and up. We're coming in to a low plank, perfect neutral spine, and we're just gonna work some reaches. So I'm working to reach wide, wide, forward, forward. Same thing as the high plank, we're trying to minimize the hip sway. We're going for, we're gonna go for 45. Let's go. Find your low plank. Hold it tight and go on my call. Strong core. We all good? All right, now we go. Left, right, forward, forward. Left, right, forward, forward. Hold. Keep that mid-core high. Left, right, forward, forward, left, right, forward, forward. Hold. Good. On the home stretch, just 15 to go. Left slow, right slow-mo, forward slow-mo, forward slow-mo, left slow-mo, right slow-mo. Hold. 5, 4. Bring the feet together, make it harder. 3, 2, 1. Relax, crossing the legs, rolling back over to a couple more back rolls. We're gonna just do a little cool down stretch now. So with this one, a bit of a yoga stretch. To start, if you're just getting started, you might use your hands for support through the lower back, and you might just stop there with bent legs. As you get better, you'll roll all the way over, straightening the legs. Deep stretch. If you're just getting started, don't go too far too soon. Bend the legs, hold, just get used to the movement. And we're going to turn this into a little core exercise. So I float up, lowering everything, including the lower back down. Slowly, control, hamstring stretch. Roll back, legs back, you can press off the ground, legs high, lower back, stretch. High, lower the lower back, lower the legs. That was a bit fast. And float. Float high. Go for a little reach, extend them back, come back up high. Lower the torso, lower the legs. The slower the better. Try and slow everything down. See how much harder it is. Stretch. Slow. Slow. Press to cheat. Legs go back slowly. Reach. High. Control the core down. Control the legs. Float back up. Couple more. Sit in the stretch a little longer if you need. Last one. And coming back up to a roll. Facing me, bring the feet together, stretch out. We've done a lot of work around these hip flexors, the hips. We're just gonna work, swaying our way back in. Bring that head down towards the feet. Start winding down the breath now. Release, relax. Excellent. Like we did at the start, crossing those legs, pressing high, pressing up, decompress. And floating back down. From here, you can sit in a meditative state like I'm about to, or you can lie down. We're going to just start to wind down the breath. Making sure our stance is nice straight back. Tuck the chin, no tilting forward. Or if you're lying down, it's nice and easy. Smooth breath in. Relaxing exhale. Soothing exhale. Should soothe every cell in your body with that light vibration of sound. Stretching out the neck a little if you need to. Anywhere you need to just get soft, fluid, relaxed, gentle. Today's meditation is just a good training to bring you back into the now and get you out of the mind, always thinking forward, back, sideways. And the best way to do that is through the senses. So to start with, I want you to just be aware, whether you're lying or seated, how does that feel? Where's the pressure on your body? the mat feel? Is it firm? Is it soft? Is it cold? Is it warm? And just be aware of the space you're in. Floor, air temperature in your vicinity. Making your way to your nose now, just breathing in, being aware of the air pressure, any smells or sensations, observing your own passageways as you breathe through the nose. Now just observe the breath as well. You're breathing in fully, breathing into the belly, or you're breathing wide up through the chest as well. Are you emptying the air? Or are you just doing a shallow release of 20% air? Observe any sounds beyond the music or even the vibration, the echo of the beats. Background instruments maybe that you normally miss. Any white noise in the background, traffic, motors, air conditioning. Bring awareness to your own body. Do you think the body is sore right now? Is it exhausted? Is it full of energy? Is it recovered? How are you feeling lately? What emotions are most common? What have you been thinking about lately? Just returning to the breath. Just observing any sense now. What do you notice first in this room? And maybe try and blend all the senses. Can you be aware of the sounds, the smells, the air temperature all at once, the music? And that's our task for today, taking this meditation through the day is to just slow down, pay attention to the music, maybe the lyrics you normally miss, the closer taste in that food when you just slow down and chew it. Just see if you can enhance the senses, which will enhance the experience of the now and get you out of the future or the past. Have a great day.